Hello, welcome to a thriller recommendation video. If you're new here, I take my recommendations very seriously. Too seriously, some may say. Specifically my thriller recommendations, but I don't want to disappoint you, my mother, anyone else looking for a rec. And I personally love a good thriller recommendation, so here we are. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will have either discovered a new book to add to that ever-growing TBR, or just one that you forgot about and are like, oh, I should read that. I forgot about that one. Going in no particular order, let's start with Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton, which was not only my first book of 2024, but my first 5-star of the year. This has to be one of my favorite underrated thrillers that I need more people to read and talk about ASAP. Now, when I blurb this to you, like me, you'll probably think that it sounds like a run-of-the-mill thriller, but trust me, it's not. This is one of those thrillers where there's so much more nuance going on underneath the surface. In this novel, we follow two women, Tasha and Madison, who, although live very different realities, both wouldn't mind seeing their husband dead. Their paths end up crossing when Madison comes rapping on Tasha's windshield with her angry spouse in tow behind her. And like the good Samaritan Tasha is, she makes the split-second decision to open the door, but in doing so is opening the door into Madison's web of lies. It's so hard to find a book that so perfectly balances both plot and character development while also having this unputdownable feeling. This book was written with a lot of heart in it. The love Tasha has for her son. Oh my god. It is so sweet. For me, a 5-star thriller needs some type of message. I need to feel like what I just read had more to it than just a juicy story. Like, that's what Teen Vogue is for. What do people go for, like, celebrity gossip nowadays? This is where I get all the drama I need. But this book does that by diving into all the nuances around classism, racism, and domestic abuse. Arguably, the twists are nothing new. Can a thriller really do something new nowadays? I, at least, did not see them coming, and they're still written in a way where they don't seem far-fetched. This would really make for a great book club book, and I'm not just saying that because this was my friend and I's book club book. Okay, maybe I am. But in the oversaturated market of thrillers, not complaining, this is definitely one you do not want to skip on. You know, when you just hold up a book that you love and are just so happy that it exists and are grateful that you were able to read it. That is how I feel every time I hold up this book, The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. Y'all know me, I'm not a rereader, but this is a book that I could read again and again and find some new nugget of information that I missed previously. We follow twin sisters, Fern and Rose, who are as close as sisters can be. Like, it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. When Rose struggles to get pregnant, Fern reckons that if she can find a man to impregnate her, she could just give the baby to Rose. Logical enough. But as the story progresses and we learn more about the character's past, we start to question who truly is the good sister. I love how Sally Hepworth formatted this book. It is told in the past and present. Fern is the modern day storyline, while Rose is that of the past and is told in a diary entry type format. And through this, a sense of dissonance is created as some aspects of the past contradict how we see certain things in the present. The characters are really what make this novel. I am such a Fern stan. She is this lovable, unafraid to be herself character who is funny and has this endearing quality to her. Fern is truly such a hidden gem. Now, I cannot speak on behalf of the autism representation in here, especially since it was never named. I'm not exactly sure how to feel about that personally. I'm sure there's some kind of reasoning behind that. Best case scenario, it was a strategy to get bigoted people to read this novel and to start to understand the intricacies of someone on the spectrum. But in saying that, it's kind of widely accepted among readers and reviewers that Fern is somewhere on the autistic spectrum and deals with sensory processing issues. I do think Sally Hepworth does do a good job of showing how vast the spectrum is through the different characters in here. Again, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. If you were to read one book in this video, I love all these, but this one is so good. A must read. Now, this is a novel that every time I hold up, I am unsettled by. I'm still unsettled by. The House We Grew Up In by Lisa Jewell. This book fundamentally changed my view of life. If I thought I was type A before this book, wait till I saw Sara post this book. We open with the estranged Bird siblings reuniting back at their family house for the first time since their mother's death to clean out and declutter the absolutely terrifying amount of clutter their mother accumulated. I'm talking like boxes on boxes of junk, like her MC could not get through the door without clearing a path first. This hoarding seems to have spawned from an Easter many years ago in which a terrific accident occurred. What am I trying to say? Tragic. Not terrific, Sara, that's some type of tragic accident occurred, resulting in the birds, this picturesque family, being slowly torn apart. This book just makes you feel unwell, but at the same time, it's so hard-hitting and emotional. Through examining trauma, mental health, death, this book highlights how individuals cope in their own unique ways when life goes south. The mother is specifically fascinating to read about, to see the mental affliction of someone so desperate to hold on to these pleasant, delightful memories, a lot of Easter memories, in an attempt to overshadow reality. Lisa Jewell books do tend to be a bit more drawn out, but the way in which she builds the atmosphere, the suspense, these vivid characters make the story not feel that way, and just instead creates a beautifully written book that you never want to end. I did not think I would be describing Hoarding is Beautiful today. Lovely. Truly, I thought I would not be able to get through this because of the unease the premise brought me. Me and my everything needs a place, perfectionist mind. But no, this was great. I'm telling y'all, make this your Easter Sunday read. Read this cute little domestic thriller while you're having your own little cute little domestic Easter dinner. The vibes would be exceptional. Moving on to Sign Here by Claudia Lux. This book is part thriller, part horror, part humor. It is definitely one of the most unique novels I've ever read. In one storyline, we follow Payot, who has worked his way up to the 5th level of hell. In this bleak office type level, his job is to get people to sign their souls away in exchange for something they want. You want your ex-girlfriend to take you back? Well, my friend, sign here. Right on the dotted line. You got it. You got it. Perfect. Okay, great. Payot is on the verge of a big promotion. All he needs is one more member of the Harrisons to sign. In the other storyline, the more domestic thriller type storyline, we follow the Harrisons on their annual vacation to their summer house. But obviously there's more to that story that you're going to have to discover yourself. Like the hell depicted in here, this book has so many layers to it. It's dark, absurd, has dysfunctional family drama. The humor in this book is so fun. It's kind of dry, but dark. As an example, Payot complains how the bars in hell only serve Jägermeister when all he ever really wants is a cold beer. I mean, come on, it's funny in a dark, ridiculous way. The different storylines have very different vibes, but I liked how it felt like we got 2 books in one. And I actually thought they balanced each other out. The dark absurdity of Payot's to the domesticity of the Harrisons. If you like dark humor, read this. If you like domestic thrillers, read this. However, it is not for the faint of heart. Just a warning. Next, a novel by my fave. Do I ever refer to Shirley Lapina as anything other than my fave? No, that would be unthinkable. An unwanted guest. Now, I could go on and on all about my reading experience in here. What else was taking place in my life? I don't know. No clue. I just remember curling up on the couch and reading this and being obsessed and being like, she's done it again. This is the Agatha Christie-like Shirley Lapina novel of my dreams. This really was an if Shirley Lapina wrote an Agatha Christie. Picture this. A weekend retreat at a cozy mountain lodge is just what the guests staying at the Mitchells Inn need. Even after the weather takes a turn and cuts off all communication for miles, the guests try to make the most of it. So they huddle up in the lounge with some blankets, some cocoa, and though not ideal, everything's going pretty good. What else could you need? Until they start dropping like flies. Look, I know it's summer. You don't need to remind me. My AC bill does that enough. But I know that I personally would rather not be in a heat wave, and I'm just saying that the atmosphere in here is impeccable. In a locked room thriller, there's really not going to be a lot of action taking place, so the strength of the novel is really going to rely on the whodunit aspect, the characters themselves, their dialogue, and the interactions between each other. And this, my friends, is a good one. Although there are multiple characters, they're all very distinct, so it's easy to keep everyone straight. My favorite was definitely the writer, who, if I'm remembering correctly, we primarily follow. This novel's clever, paced not too slow nor too fast. Highly recommend. All right. For those that are like, come on, Sarah, it's summer. I need a summary thriller to read by the pool. I hear you, and I got the thriller for you. The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz. I read this in my last video, which if you have not seen it yet, it was my Summer Reading 2024 reading vlog. Go check it out if you haven't. But I miss this. I miss reading this already. This is one of my new favorite thrillers I have ever read, and this is the absolute perfect cherry on top of the sundae summer read. I feel like I've talked about this book a lot recently, so I'm going to try not to stay on it too long. Let's rewind to 2020. I know, scary. The pandemic's going on and our MC Kelly is quarantining with her boyfriend. Things are not looking too great between the two, so when Kelly's recently re-befriended friend Sabrina invites her to stay at her mansion, Kelly jumps at the opportunity. But once she gets there, she's kind of like, ooh, this couple's kind of fine. I wouldn't mind, just inserting myself into their relationship and starting up a little throuple situation. And it seems like this couple has done this before. But if so, why is their previous lover MIA? And what does that exactly mean for our MC? Our girl Sabrina, who Kelly is living with, is not only an author, but a romance author. So the romance aspect in here, fire. Like Sabrina's in the know. Our MC may have even been a fan of her work before she went to live with her. Is that creepy? I don't know. How do we feel about that? But Kelly knew Sabrina before she became an author. Kelly just appreciates Sabrina's work and devours each book Sabrina releases. Was I able to predict some of the parts in here? Yes. But I am still in love with it, and in saying that, the ultimate twist I didn't see coming. I swear I am a thriller author's worst nightmare because I go into these books analyzing all the angles. If you want a thriller that flips societal norms on its head, where every second is fun and is unlike anything you've read before, here you go. Read this. Please read this. This is so good, okay? This is so good. I will continuously shove this down your throat until you eat it? No, read it. Yes. This next book is like if you got a bowl, tossed in The Bachelor, mixed in some Squid Games, sprinkled in a little Hunger Games, whisked it all together. Sorry. Okay, that is where my mind went. Where were we in our analogy? Put it in the oven, and you'd get Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. This is a YA thriller that, to quote the author, is satire, which totally, but I think that word belittles this book because of the connotation around it. This is such a profound, insightful story about classism, racism, and wealth. We follow Adina Walker, who has recently, for reasons, lost her spot at the Ivy League university of her dreams. So in hopes of regaining attendance, she enters into the Finish, a competition in which 12 girls are brought together to compete in competitions for the ultimate prize that will not only bring them notoriety and wealth, but also fundamentally change their future. However, the Finish is a lot more deadly than Adina signed up for. There's no backing out of the Finish. It's literally called The Finish. For being YA, this book is brutal. I know I was not expecting it to be so violent, but in the context of the purpose of this book, it makes sense. All that, alongside seeing Adina grow and better find her purpose in life, made this book so impactful. There's so much action packed into here. I loved how Joelle Wellington commits to this concept and takes it all the way. She doesn't try to make readers comfortable. She has bigger fish to fry, as she should. This book is camp. It's so good. Next, Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. I would say this is more of a mystery than a thriller, but I tend to think of the genre similarly. I've shelved them together on my shelf, so I shelved them together in my mind. And this does have a thriller tag on Goodreads, so we open with 4 badass older women who are also assassins. In this day and age, their skill set has been deemed antique, and so as a farewell retirement present, their employers literally ship them off on an all-expense paid-for cruise. These ladies, forced to make the most of it, are wining and dining, sipping mimosas by the pool, until they discover that the museum, the same organization they have dedicated their lives to for the past 40 years, are targeting them. Someone's trying to take them out with the trash. Can I just say, these ladies are cooler than I will ever be. And that is honestly kind of sad for me. Deanna Raybourn has this ability to make readers relate to her characters, even if they are assassins and thrice their age. I feel like this is one of those novels that will stand the test of time, as it discusses this issue that society continuously seems to have of underestimating women, both because of their gender and age. This is such a fun read. Some of the methods of murder in here are so creative and will make you go, oh, okay. I never thought of doing that, but slay, I guess. I loved how this celebrated womanhood and female friendship while also having this underlying suspense element. This gave Golden Girl meets Ocean's 8. Again, this was such a romp. Highly recommend. Now, I love creepy children in books. And the ultimate creepy child book is Don't Let the Title Fool You, The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. If I am ever fortunate enough one day to have children of my own, I pray to God, Hera, anyone else who is listening, that my child is nowhere near like this, as I in my overly imaginative mind likes to conjure up scenarios like that happening. And so, reading about terrifying children at least makes me feel better. Makes me feel like I'm not alone. Me and my imaginary terrifying child, that is. Maybe this is all connected to some deep-rooted issue I have of fearing that I won't be a good mom. I'm 21. I do not need to be thinking about this. Let's talk about this book. In this novel, we follow doctors Christopher and Hannah Boyer, who are about to give up on their dreams of having a child of their own when abandoned 6 6-year-old Janie shows up at the hospital. They decide to adopt Janie despite warnings because they're doctors. They can handle any of the struggles that come their way, even if these struggles include manipulation, vile, and honestly demonic behavior. This is a disturbing, at times hard read that is also painfully real by shedding light on the problems within the foster care system. And Lucinda Berry, being a former clinical psychologist, executes all that exceptionally. The pacing in here was great. It allowed time for tension to build as well as time to build the background on all the characters. I did see some reviews complaining about the ambiguous ending in here, but don't worry, once you finish it, you can hop right on over to the sequel, A Welcome Reunion, to learn about Janie as a teenager. The child isn't a child anymore. She's a creepy teenager now. Honestly, more terrifying. Although I do love myself a creepy child. Do you know what I love more? Rich people drama. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about Good Rich People by Eliza Jane Brazier. More like bad rich people who are corrupt and that I ate up. Ooh, is it delicious. Absolutely scrumptious. Every time I hold up this book, I cannot get over that cover. It's so funny, isn't it? This is a dual perspective novel. One POV is from Lila. She, her husband, and mother-in-law, Margot, are a part of the 1%. These people are Rockefeller rich. Even though they could literally do whatever they want every day. You know, being so rich is boring. Oh, how unfortunate that must be. So to combat this boredom, they play this game where they invite tenants to live in their guest house for the sole purpose of messing up their lives. That is until they meet our other POV, Demi, their supposed latest victim. This novel is definitely over the top, but it knows what it's doing. The author's not oblivious. She's using this satirical, sarcastic tone to comment on class. This novel also has a very compelling cat and mouse feel. These are just rich people that you love to hate, though there are no particularly likable characters in here. But this will just have you flipping the pages to see how this nightmare will implode. Like, why is she wearing gloves? Don't you want to know? What kind of deviance is she getting herself into? Alright, so those were some thriller recs that I hope you guys will enjoy. If you try any of these out, let me know how it goes. I'm guessing that this is going to be a bit of a shorter video, but I still hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm currently in the works on another video essay type video, so exciting things are coming. If you want any specific type of rec video, let me know. Also, feel free to comment any of your favorite thrillers for others, including myself, to devour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me mention that a lot. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it really does. It just lets YouTube know that you enjoyed it and that they should recommend it to other people. You can also comment, interact, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, a fantastic week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.